How I got started cooking with weed, I was a teenager in New York City. You take whatever you found, dumped it all into the batter and cooked it, and held onto the couch and waited for the ride to stop. Hi, my name is Miguel Trinidad, and I'm one of the founders of 99th Floor. We are an infused cannabis dinner club based out of New York City. Today, we're making Not Your Mama's Arroz con Pollo. So we're gonna infuse the shit out of it, make it nice and elevated, so to speak. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna decarb our cannabis. Today, we're gonna take this bud and we're gonna infuse some chicken fat. The chicken fat will be our vessel, our delivery system for the arroz con pollo. When you decarb flour, what you're actually doing is activating, okay? So right now you have THCA on the bud. Once you apply heat, it becomes THC9, and that's the activation process. That's the psychoactive effect. Without that, you can put this in and some heat will activate it, but you won't get its maximum potency if you don't decarb it. Here I have a little over an ounce, right? It does not matter the amount that you use. I like to use about an ounce if I'm using a pound of butter, because I want to use that butter for multiple things. You can leave it intact. You don't have to break it down, but you don't want really big buds, right? Because you want to toast this, and we're going to grind this up before we infuse our chicken fat with it. Pop it in the oven at about 220 degrees for about 30 minutes, and that's your decarb process. I have some that has already been decarbed and ground, very lightly. I don't like to get it too toasty because it kind of changes the flavor. So if you decarb it and it turns brown, you're gonna get, this aftertaste. Of course, you can play around with it and you can cover up that aftertaste, but do it slow, low, don't let it get too dark on you. Let's add the chicken fat in here first. I wanna melt that down. I wanna get it to a slow simmer and just dump this in. A lot of people say that, you gotta cook it for 30 minutes and let it go. No. To quote Jason Pinsky, if your butter is green, you're doing it wrong. You're gonna extract all the THC in the first 5 minutes, okay? So keep it at a nice simmer, let it cook. All of you that disagree with me, I've been doing this shit for 6 years and it fucking works this way. So from here, I'm just gonna strain. One of the things in 99th Floor, our mission statement is to destigmatize cannabis through the universal language of food. Now, we do that by microdosing. I can't smoke as much as I used to, so I prefer to ingest it. Growing up in a Latino household, this was a gateway drug, devil's lettuce. Till this day, my mom thinks that, smoking weed is the worst thing you can possibly do. But slowly, I have convinced her to change her mind. Look at that beautiful chicken fat. Okay, so this device is called a T-check. It measures the potency of your fats, alcohol if you're doing tinctures, flour. It does have a kit to measure the potency of flour. So all you gotta do is take a couple of drops of fat, put it in the chamber. Once it's ready, just run the test and just wait. And it'll tell you how strong it is. Ha! Sometimes it registers as the infusion is too strong. So we're gonna have fun with this one today. It's registering at about 221 milligrams per tablespoon. So the thing is, you can take this. If it's too strong for you, what you can do is take a tablespoon of this and add it to your regular cooking oil. So now that our infusion is ready, let's move along and make the sofrito. Sofrito is the holy trinity for Latino cooking, okay? It is that spice, it is that seasoning that just starts off every single meal. White or red onion will do. Ají peppers. Now, these look like Scotch bonnets, but there are no heat to them whatsoever. You don't have to take the seeds out, but you do have to take the stems off. My mom would do this probably about once a month and literally make a couple of gallons of it. Family would come over, pick it up. And this will last in your fridge a couple of weeks, in the freezer 3 months. So I put in about 10 cloves of garlic, some oregano, some white wine or white cooking wine. I'm gonna chop up this onion, about a cup of water. sofrito should be thicker. Sorry, everyone. It's like I knew we were missing something here. My mother would kill me. Take your cilantro, rough chop. Don't forget the cilantro. Cilantro is very important. Okay. That's the smell from home. So now that the sofrito is done, let's make a sazon. Here I have some annatto seeds, ground annatto powder, which that's gonna give you that color. That's classic in any arroz con pollo. Some pepper, oregano, cumin, onion, and garlic powder, okay? And some coriander. This is gonna give you all that flavor and that color that's classic for an arroz con pollo. This seasoning right here, if you have adobo, if you know what adobo is, every Latino household has adobo. This can substitute that adobo as well. There we are. So now we have our mise en place together. Let's get the arroz con pollo going. In Caribbean cooking, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Haiti, Caribbean countries, all the proteins are usually seasoned with some salt and pepper and vinegar. This is to remove any impurities before cooking. It's our way of washing the protein, so to speak. Some vinegar, pepper, some salt. Just let that sit while I get the rest of the stuff ready. What does arroz con pollo mean? It's rice and chicken. So it's a one-pot meal. You know, I'm sure there's gonna be some people watching this video that's like, that's not the way you do it. But you know what? In my house, this is the way my mother did it, and I changed it up a little, made it my own. I'm gonna take some of that chicken fat. Now remember, this is 221 milligrams per tablespoon, so that's gonna be a nice one. But I am gonna cut it just a little bit. Get our onions in there. This is something that was, you know, one of the things that rotated in our house pretty regularly. This was something that one of the first dishes she taught my sister how to make. One of the first dishes that I made once leaving home. So I just want to lay that chicken down. Get a little bit of color. It's like you're not going to brown the chicken too much. Just want to give it a little bit of color. All right, I want to season the chicken with a little bit of salt and pepper. Some of that homemade sazon, just get it in there. Let's talk a little bit about infusions, right? It's always best that you start off slow. You know, start off with 5 to 10 milligrams, see how you feel. If that makes you feel great, slowly increase that. The thing about when you're cooking food, it's not gonna hit you all at once. You have carbs that are going to assist with mellowing it for you, so it's not gonna hit you really hard. If you get to the point where you feel that it is too much, right? Some people might panic. Just understand that you're not gonna overdose and die from this. Put on a movie, find something that's relaxing, read a book, it'll pass. So if you come to a 99 floor dinner, the meal is about 25 milligrams from start to finish. So what I didn't mention earlier, and you know, is that we are prone to be the first cannabis restaurant that's allowed to infuse food on premise in New York City. So I want to take the chicken out. All right, but right in there, I'm gonna add my rice, stir that up. The sofrito. Add our chicken stock. Then put our chicken right back in. Once it comes up to a boil, cover it, reduce it to simmer, walk away for 25 minutes. So 20 minutes has passed, right? We're gonna check that. That's looking nice. Put some peppers all around it, because that's classic arroz con pollo. It has red peppers. Make it look pretty. Another 10 minutes and we should be fine. This is what our arroz con pollo looks like. I don't know how everybody feels about cilantro. Some people say it tastes like soap. I'm like, I love it. I love it. So this is done. Let's grab some of this rice. Look at that. The wheat is very subtle, but you definitely get it on the finish. But you can taste the freshness of the cilantro. You can taste the cannabis in it. The chicken is cooked perfectly. It's nice and moist and juicy. So for the recipe, click the link down below and follow us on Instagram at 99th Floor. That's 99THFL. And come and see us. I met my partners, Doug Cohen and Mel Peralta. We met doing this project, a pilot for a TV show. And being all from New York, we decided, we should do something together. We flew out to LA, met a good friend of ours. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. I was just so high that day.